welcome to Seen Through Glass. Now, the Geneva Motor Show is entering its final few days. Things close down this Sunday, the 19th of March. Now, I'm sure you've seen a ton of photos and a ton of videos of all the cars that have been revealed and that are on display here at the show. But what I thought I would do is, before the show closes, try and show you some of the cars that you may miss if you're turning up to the final few days or trying to keep up on social media. Now this year I was very kindly invited to the Geneva Motor Show by the guys at Ford, so I spent a lot of time hanging around their stand, which is absolutely huge. It is easy to miss some of the stuff they have on display there, especially when they had Ford GTs right up front, still acting as big show stealers. But amongst them and some incredible heritage racing cars, they also had on display the brand new Fiesta ST. Now I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago Paul and I did a road trip in the old generation Fiesta ST and loved it, so we were both really intrigued to see this new car, which has got a brand new 197 horsepower 1.5 litre EcoBoost engine. I personally think it looks a lot more aggressive in person than it does on camera, but I'm very intrigued by this little car and keen to spend some more time with it later in the year. If you can, make sure you delve your way through the huge Ford stand and go check it out. Now, moving away from the Ford stand, we come onto a car which I really haven't stopped talking about since I left Geneva. I'm obsessed with this little thing, and I cannot tell you why, but it is the Brabus Ultimate or 125 smart car, and I just think it is so much fun. I mean, in terms of stats, there's not really much to tell you. It's a smart car, it puts out 123 horsepower, does 0 to 60 in about 9.2 seconds, but it's turquoise, and it's got amazing rims, and it's got 3 exhaust pipes, and I just absolutely love it. I don't think really there's any point in having a car like this in the world. It's about 60,000 euros once you've done the car and the kit, but I want one more than I want children, so it says something about me as a person, I guess. But yeah, anyway, it's tucked away near the Mercedes stand. You've got to go check it out just to make yourself smile. Next up, and just across from the Brabus smart car, is this mean looking thing, the Infiniti Project Black S. I think this thing looks absolutely mad. It's been developed in line with the Renault Formula One team, and it's all about investigating ERS, the energy recovery system used in Formula One. It has got aerodynamic parts hanging off it everywhere. It looks like it's just been through a sort of Batman and Halford's orgy, but I just think it looks amazing. I mean, you know, why not? It's all about lightweight and performance and yada yada yada, and God knows whether it's actually going to hit the roads, but if it does, I think I want one. I love it. Go on, Infiniti. Now, I freely admit I can be a bit of a snob at these car shows and can probably be a bit of a snob in general, but let's come back to that. So I was pleasantly surprised, if not bloody amazed, when I headed over to the Tata Motors stand and found their Tamo Racemo concept car. This thing I thought was so cool, and as I say, just massively unexpected, and it was my own naivety for not heading over there and expecting to see something cool from Tata, but this is their first foray into a sort of sports car, their reputation obviously being affordable cars in India. And whilst this is a concept car, they are planning to bring it to production in 2017-2018, and it just looks mad. It looks like something out of a sort of Gran Turismo game. The doors, the interior, some of the angles. I struggled to look at all the different data for it, but still found it pretty amazing to see this thing up close and personal at the Tata stand. Now, I freely admit that the I-Pace isn't exactly one of the sort of hidden cars at the Geneva Motor Show. In fact, it's taken a pretty sort of prime spot on the Jaguar Land Rover stand, but I kind of wanted an excuse to talk about it. This is, in my mind, Jaguar's sort of rival to the Tesla, or at least Jaguar's first major foray into sort of electric vehicles. They are aiming for this thing to do 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds, if not under 4 seconds, and I think it looks incredible. If this is the future of EV, then I don't think I'm that against it anymore. Next up, we have a new Abarth. This is the 595 Pista. I really only included it on this list so I could say Pista. Only joking. This is a new version of the 595 Abarth. It keeps the 158 horsepower 1.4 litre engine. However, it gets some drilled front and rear brake discs. It gets sort of tricked out rear suspension from Coney. You get quad exhaust pipes and then sort of uprated racing interior. It's not a sort of full bore 695 race car, but it is a sort of another sporty version of the 595. I really like the new Series 4 shape, and this car looked particularly cool in red, and as I say, it's just fun to say. The 595 Pista. Now, over at the Noble stand, a car that I very quickly wanted to point out was their M600 Carbon Edition, mainly because the tint of green in the exposed carbon weave was spectacular. Koenigsegg, I think, really stole the show in terms of exposed carbon weave this year, but Noble, while sort of slightly hidden away in the middle of the second floor, have also done a spectacular job, I think, in making the green really stand out and pop on a carbon weave. So I really enjoyed seeing this car up close and personal. Now, I managed to walk past this car a number of times without actually realising what it was. At first, I thought it was just a very nice Porsche Cayman GT4 on display before I realised it was actually a Tech-Art 718 Cayman, which looks nearly identical to sort of a GT4, and I kind of loved that. They've done an incredible job, I think, in terms of the aerodynamics, making it look factory or OEM in terms of its upgrades. Now, of course, it being Tech-Art, they've also attacked the performance, and the car is running about 50 horsepower more than the standard car, increased top speed, probably increased torque as well. But I just think, as I say, a very clever job of making a 718 look mightily like the previous generation GT4. Very cool looking car, great colour, and I think makes the 718 a little bit more attractive because I haven't been a major fan of the new era turboed Cayman. And finally, we come to the Lamborghini stand. Now, obviously, the Huracan Performante is stealing a lot of attention at this year's show. It's got to be sort of one of the top 3 or 5 cars on display in the entire Geneva Motor Show. However, tucked away quietly behind it is the new Huracan rear-wheel drive Spider. This car was kind of launched without much fanfare, I believe, in America towards the end of last year. And it was just sort of dumped, as I say, on the back of the stage in a fantastic spec, in my opinion, the sort of satin silver colour opposite an Aventador S. But I really didn't realise that it was a rear-wheel drive variant until I got much closer to it. So I wanted to make sure I pointed it out for you guys, just in case you made the same mistake as me. And that really kind of wraps up my overview of some of the cars that you may miss or may have missed at this year's Geneva Motor Show. So much to see, so much on display. I know there's been a ton of content from this show, but I wanted to do one more video kind of highlighting some of my secret favourite cars. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure you subscribe for plenty more videos to come.